Yay. Hey, Taylor. I think we're live.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you, Boomer.
Boomer, baby.
Yeah. You're supposed to say Sooner. Isn't that what to say? Isn't that what the Sooner fans say?
It is.
Yeah. Well, hey, everybody. This is like our third or fourth or fifth episode of the Real Investing Show. The fourth? Okay. Well, we're going to officially start now. So stand by for a really cool episode. That's the coolest thing ever.
Boop, boop, boop. It's official.
Yeah, I know. Did you do that yourself? Did you make that yourself?
Oh, absolutely not. Fiverr.com will change your world.
Yeah? How much did you pay for that on Fiverr?
Probably $5 or $10.
Holy moly. Holy moly.
It's awesome. The way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember back in the day, I was using Fiverr back between like 07, 08, 09. It's cool.
It's a really great leverage tool. And you get like, where is it here? This little guy. Mm-hmm. Got that there.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. And it's got the transparent background. So, well, hey, guys, if you're watching or listening, thanks for joining in. This is Stephen Earp and Taylor Davis, co-host of the Real Investing Show. This is episode 4. And I think we have like 2 people watching live. So if you're watching live, you're awesome. Let us know who you are and where you're from in the comments. And if you're listening on the podcast or on LinkedIn or on Instagram or on our Facebook page, just thanks so much for watching. Let us know who you are, where you're from in the comments. Please like, comment, and share. Let people know they can learn more about investing in real estate. We're just kind of doing it. We're both real estate investors. And we've been in business together off and on since how long? Since 2008. And yeah, we like doing this together. And so we thought we would just start sharing about what we know and what we can do and things like that. Lots of people, know about real estate. We love it so much. And so anyway, today we're going to talk about finding deals on the MLS. Now, Taylor, you're also a licensed agent.
Correct.
So if any of our listeners or followers, if you're in Oklahoma, or even if you're in another state, I think Taylor's team might be able to help you even by giving you a referral to someone good elsewhere. But
connect you with the right agent.
Yeah, so connect you with someone. So today, the MLS, Taylor, talk to me about. A lot of people will say, well, it's impossible to find good deals on the MLS. But first of all, let's just give some basic definitions. What is the MLS? Yeah.
Multiple listing service. It is, technically, really what it is it is a format for brokerages to co-broker with each other. So if I'm at Keller Williams and someone is at Remax, the way we connect and agree to broker a deal together is through the MLS. That's technically what it is. What it's really turned into is it's where people go to look for houses, right? So as soon as I list property, or as soon as any agent lists a property, they put it in the MLS. That allows all the other agents to see it. And then it starts to feed from there. That's where places like Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, or any of the other websites pull that data from to say the house is for sale. So it's really the source for all of the listings in a particular area.
Okay. So is it just... Who has access to the MLS? Like, how do you get access to this? So the MLS is basically, it's a large list of all the homes that are for sale that are listed with agents in the area, correct?
Yes. So, yeah, exactly. So only brokers have access to the MLS directly, but they can get their clients access through to be able to see the same thing they do through like a portal. So you have access through an agent to the MLS, or a lot of these websites will feed directly from it, most of which will be within hours, sometimes within 24 hours, depending on the website. So you can go to a lot of these different places and see what is happening within a few hours delay, or you get with an agent and then they can see it in real time and email it to where you can see it in real time as well.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's really, you can get proxy to the MLS through an agent.
Okay, cool. So the big question, we teased this a little bit last week, but a lot of people say, and this was some of the wisdom back in the day when I first started investing in real estate. A lot of people would say you can't find good deals on the MLS, and a lot of investors are looking for what they call off-market deals. Right. Off-market meaning it's not listed, so not everyone has access to it. So maybe you can get a better deal if it's not listed. But what you're saying is you can find great deals on the MLS. And so let's talk about that. How, bro? I want to find good deals. Tell me how to find good deals on the MLS.
All right. So with many things, it's going to be speed is going to be one of the things. So getting set up in a way where you're going to get that information immediately. So that's proxy through an agent that is going to set, and an agent can set it up to email you once a day or to email you as soon as something hits the market. You want that as soon as it hits the market because you want that competitive advantage, especially in today's world. So you can set up your criteria to be literally anything you want. We'll get into like certain criteria to set up in a little bit. But one of the things you want to be looking for is as soon as something that hits your criteria hits the market, you're putting an offer in immediately, because if you can get it in and it is a win for that seller, you may be able to secure it before multiple offers happen, especially if it's a good deal. And if it's a good deal, multiple offers are probably going to happen. So that's going to be one thing.
Okay, so
you're jumping in fast.
Okay, so the first principle for getting a good deal in the MLS, get with an agent or broker and get your criteria in there and have it set so that you get notified immediately when something hits your criteria.
Yes.
You don't want the daily drip or the weekly drip. You want like the immediate thing.
Correct. ASAP.
Okay.
And so, I mean, I did this literally, closed on a deal 2 weeks ago that was in the MLS, and it hit. I was emailed about it. I saw it. I knew the neighborhood. I knew the area. I knew it was a good deal. It was $100,000 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Norman, Oklahoma. Crazy good deal. It needs a lot of work, but that works for me. And so I knew that was a good deal, and I knew that would go way over asking price if it were to sit for that weekend. If they were to wait, it would have gone way over. So I actually went in and I offered $102,000 cash. I did go a little over, which was still a really good deal. And put a response time in for that day. So they only had till that day to accept it. And it was I tried to remove as many contingencies as possible to get them to accept it. And they did. And so we were able, they just accepted it.
So you didn't, so in a market like this, I'm assuming, and I'm assuming like a lot of houses that go on the market, it's like you end up like multiple offers in the same day, and the sellers, because it's a seller's market, it's still a seller's market. We'll talk more about the state of the market in our next episode.
Yep.
Wink, wink.
Starting to shift.
Yeah. But it still is a seller's market. So like in that, something hits the market and you have multiple offers like the same day. And a lot of time the agent's like, hey, send us your highest and best offer. And what you wanted to do is you're like, this came out on a Friday. Is that right?
It came out on a Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
It was one of those 2 days. Yes.
And you made, so they're asking 100 and you made $102,000 offer. Right. And you set it to expire within hours, like by the end of the day. So you're like, I'm willing to give you what you want, but I'm not going to wait for you to check 10 other offers from 10 other jokers. And
they had an overpriced cash offer as is in their inbox in less than an hour after it hit the market.
Yeah.
So, and then we had that tied up within another hour. So within 2 hours on the market, it was already secured.
Yeah.
So that's one way.
Okay. All right. Tell me more. So that's one way.
So, by the way, you have to remember that when you're making your offer, make it through the lens of what that client would want, right? So if you're wanting a good deal on price, maybe you need to give better deals on terms or things like that. So like if you can offer it as an as is or a really short inspection period, or maybe you put more earnest money down, things that make your offer look a little bit more attractive are going to help get that done, especially on the speed to lead. The other option though is you put a search criteria for something that's longer days on market. So now you're going to start looking for the things that now you're looking for the disappointed seller. Okay. Because in today's market or in the market over the last 2 years, average days on market's like 6 days. And in certain price points, it's lower, it's shorter than that. So if you're in the $100,000 price point, you're probably only on the market for 3 or 4 days in the last 2 years. Right. So with that being said, on day 30, sellers are starting to get antsy and a little frustrated because they had this expectation of this was sold 3 weeks ago, right? The other thing that happens is buyers, if everything else is selling in less than a week and you're on the market for 4 weeks, what do you ask as the buyer, Stephen?
Why the heck has it not sold? What's wrong with it?
What's wrong with it?
Yeah, what's wrong with this deal? Yeah.
We all fall into this mentality of we don't like in the beginning, you have fear of loss or like fear of missing out, right? Like that's what FOMO is really kicking in, and you're afraid you're going to miss out on a good deal. So you want to go in and grab that good deal. What shifts after like a longer days on market time is buyers start to have this mentality of like, there's something wrong with it. And then fear of making a bad decision kicks in, because if all of these other buyers out there have passed on this deal, there's clearly something they know that I don't, right? That's what happens. Now, as an investor, you're not competing with all of the competitive buyers anymore because they're all scared of it. So put that as look at the average days on market and then double or triple that, right? Then you start to make your criteria around that. And that's going to shift with the market, because when we first got into the business, the average days on market was 8 months. So, something being on the market for 30 days, that's a new listing, right?
Right.
In today's world, and it's like 6 days on market, 30 days is an eternity, right? And so,
interesting.
So looking at that extended days on market, and then now you're going in with a softer offer that you're going to be able to get some more of those terms. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I love this. Okay, so I just want to review for me. I may have a little ADD going on, so I just want to review. First way of getting a good deal in the MLS is what you're calling the speed to lead. So you get with an agent, you set up your search criteria, and you have them send the emails immediately when the listing hits. You don't do it daily, you don't do it weekly, and you're ready. Like you're ready to go, and then you're offering what they want, or you're like, know the market, offer what they're asking for a little higher. So that's one way to find a deal.
Yes.
The next way to find a deal, you're saying, is to set your criteria, your search criteria, for like 2 or 3 times the average length of time on market. So in our local market, and we're both in the Oklahoma City metro market, and depending on where you're watching from, this may vary some, I assume. But but so like here, it would be 30 days or 5 or 6 weeks or something like that you would set your search criteria for.
Correct. And by the way, you can really dial in your day. Like a good agent is going to know how to do this, and they're going to be able to tell you what the days on market is in a specific zip code, a specific price point, specific area. So you can really dial in your criteria and then look, what are the average days on market for this criteria? And that's what I'm going to take. So I wouldn't even just take the market average, because that might be too broad. I want to take like the houses I'm looking in. And the other thing I want to say is, you can really dial in your criteria. You don't have to just put a general search for a city or a city and a price point. You can map out exact neighborhoods that you want. And then in that neighborhood, you can put an alert for it being under a certain price or under a certain dollar per square foot, right? So I can go in and say, in this neighborhood, if it's under $100 a square foot, I want to be alerted to it. Or in this neighborhood, if it's under $175,000, then I want to be alerted to it, right? Because I know either one of those I might be interested in. And so you can really get specific as to what your criteria is. And I tend to search my criteria based off dollar per square foot and minimum price. So if it falls under a certain just straight up price, I want to know about it. If it falls under a certain dollar per square foot, I want to know about it.
Yeah. Now okay. Are there other ways to find deals on the MLS?
Those are really going to be the best options.
Okay.
I mean, you can sift through and you'll find deals that's kind of, for whatever reason, maybe they busted and came back on the market a couple of times and it scared people off. But those are going to the two ways I shared are how I've gotten most of my deals.
Okay, some questions, and this is because I'm a little out of date on this. I mean, back when I was buying a lot on the MLS, are searching for REOs still valuable, or?
So I don't. Okay, not really, and here's why. Because if you've got your criteria dialed in, an REO that pops up in your criteria you're going to know about, right? Okay. So you just really want your general criteria because there's also not as many REOs as there used to be. By the way, REO stands for real estate owned, and it is a bank term. That means there's real estate owned on their bank sheet. So it's just a bank owned property, also known as foreclosure.
Yeah, good call. Sorry for my use of jargon, but
no,
an REO is a bank owned property, basically.
Bank owned property. And so we don't have very many of those, especially with COVID. There were so many restrictions on foreclosing, and so you don't have a lot of those right now. Yet, if you have your criteria set and an REO pops into that, there you go.
Okay, well that makes total sense. I'll tell you, so when I was buying a lot from the MLS, this may not be duplicatable, but it's a cool story to tell. It's one of my favorite real estate stories. I don't know if it's good for our listeners, but it'll be good for you and me. And I don't know if I ever told you about this deal, but most of the deals I ever bought were REOs back in the day on the MLS. But in addition to that, I found a deal one time. There were neighborhoods that I liked a lot. It was in Southwest Oklahoma City. It was Western Heights School District.
Okay.
And it was just north. No. It was Moore. It was Moore School District.
Oh, even
better. Just north of 89th Street, just south of 74th. And I went in and I knew the neighborhood because I'm watching it like a hawk all the time because I love this neighborhood. And I'm watching this area, I'm watching this house, and all the time. And I'm watching the neighborhood for anything that pops up. This house pops up, and because I knew the price point for houses, I knew the square footage price, and I knew the square footage on houses, I started looking at the pictures and I was like, something's wrong. This house is bigger than what this agent has listed this house at. So I went and looked at the house, and I was like, they have a 400 square foot bonus room on this house.
That they weren't counting.
That they did not count. 400 square feet. They did not count in the MLS square footage. And the MLS square footage price was a decent deal for buying a deal that needed a little work. In other words, it was an okay deal. Like, it would have been buyable for an investor as was, but it wasn't so hot there were a bunch of bids on it. But that bonus room, and they would have counted it because it had the angled ceilings, it probably would have been at like 50% of the square footage price. It wasn't a bedroom, but that added like, oh my gosh, $20,000 or $25,000 value to the property at the time, or some stupid amount of money
that no one else knew about.
No one else knew it, but I knew because I looked at 100 houses in that neighborhood, and I knew the houses. And when I saw the pictures, I was like, nope, something's wrong with that listing. Like, the agent that listed that property does not know that neighborhood, does not recognize square footage. Like, when you look at a lot of houses, you can go, no, this house is not 1,500 square feet. This has been an add-on or whatever. But man, that's so I found a deal like that. Now, yeah.
That's true. And here's the deal. That happens a lot more often than you think, that there's some kind of discrepancy. And it could go either way. So you've got to do your verification both ways. Yeah. But a lot of agents will just allow like a tax record to auto feed the square footage.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, I'm sure that they didn't update with the county the square footage whenever they added that
Right.
on, right? And
Right.
so they had 1,100 instead of 1,500 with the county, and that auto
Mhm.
fed. And agents will do that all the time. If I mean, and you just got to look for those, especially newer agents that just
Mhm.
don't know what they don't know, and
Mhm.
that can be an opportunity. I
Mhm.
hate that for
Mhm.
the seller, but I love it for
Yeah.
the
Well,
investor.
it was the funnest deal I ever found, because it's like going to a garage sale and finding something that has immense value. You find the pearl of great price at a garage
Yeah,
sale,
you
and they're
got
selling it for a quarter, you know?
$25,000 off. I'll take that.
Yeah. It was like automatic equity. So anyway, hey, great stuff, Taylor. Man, you know your stuff. So if you guys are watching, if you're looking for a real estate agent in the Oklahoma City metro area, or actually anywhere in the US, Taylor can help you get to the right person. So message me or message him. And also, if you're interested in investing possibly with us as passive investors, or if you have questions about real estate, hit us up, hit me up, Stephen Earp, hit Taylor up, Taylor Davis. But we are always actively looking for people to partner with us, especially on commercial properties where multiple people go in together. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. So do we still have time, Taylor, to do another episode today?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. So next
We'll
week,
get it up next week.
let's tease next week. Next week, what are we going to talk about?
Let's talk about the market
Yep.
conditions, because we're shifting and things are moving, and I'll give a little data behind that.
Okay.
And then we've both been through a couple of shifts.
Yep.
So we'll talk through what that looks like and kind of how to prepare.
Yeah. Right on. Man, when you say we've both been through a couple of shifts, I start experiencing PTSD from 2009.
Yeah.
The
war zone.
Yeah. When I was making payments on 8 houses and no one could get loans. So perfect. Next week, we'll talk about the state of the market. So many changes. I mean, like if you watch crypto and if you watch the stock market, like lots of things are changing. Interest rates are going up and like lots of things changing. So we'll talk next week. I'm excited for that, bro. So God bless you guys. Thanks. Please like, comment, and share. Send us your questions. Let us know if you want to know more about real estate investing. We'll try our best to answer your questions. Thank you so much, guys.